Hello and welcome back. Hopefully, if I've got everything working properly once more, I am trying this live streaming yet again to see if I can make sure that everything is working properly once more. Technology and all that jazz is the bane of my life. Something I'd love to say I'm good at. I can genuinely pick things up at some point. It takes me a bit of time usually, but I do try to keep things going. So again, Wednesday, is it Wednesday now? The days just kind of bleed into one. Yeah, it's Wednesday. So again, like I said, live streaming is something that I want to do a little bit more of. I've been having a whole lot of fun doing it. Yesterday was great. Popped on, turns out there was actually people there. Came in, a little bit of interaction, was fun, and it was just something that was a little bit different for me, something I wanted to try out. Today, again, I've been sitting watching a couple of movies, killing some time. I watched The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward, a Sergio Martino movie, and I also watched where are we? Zombieland. I threatened it yesterday. I was tempted to watch it. I went back today, checked it out, and had a whole lot of fun with it. Thanks, Zachary. I'm feeling pretty good, climbing the walls inside the house just now. But yeah, trying to get some kind of interaction, testing this out, make sure it's working fine. But yeah, feeling much better. Zombieland was one of those movies that you don't really need to think about. It's a whole lot of fun just sitting back watching it. Road movie, zombies, lots of little bits of gore, head stomps, the usual kind of stuff. And was pretty much a whole lot of fun. A lot shorter than I remember as well. 88 minutes Zombieland was, and yeah, I just one of those enjoyable movies that I hadn't seen in years. The sequel coming out kind of rejuvenated that idea in my head of going back and checking it out once more, which I did, and it was a great experience. And yeah, I thought I'd come on here and just chit chat. I've got a parcel that has just come in from the postman. Post guy always delivers dead late round about here, and I thought I would just open it up because I lose track of what's coming in the post. So let's see what's in this. Oh yeah, so this is a recent order from this, what was it, Signal One website, Damnation Alley, which just sounded really cool. I don't know a thing about it. I'm sure did this maybe have Hannibal in it from the 18? Not 100% sure, but yep. Sale's still ongoing if you're looking at some of their titles. Damnation Alley. The world is devastated by a nuclear holocaust causing the earth to tilt on its axis, bringing vast meteorological chaos. Yes, George Peppard. Boom. I'm quite happy to pick this one up. I kind of know what the rest of these are now. Hudson Hawk. Yesterday we were talking about guilty pleasures. Hudson Hawk, a movie that is maligned unfairly, if you ask me. I have a whole lot of fun with it. This is one that needs a little bit of rejuvenation, needs a little bit of people coming back talking about how good it is, because it's just so much fun. You've got the bad guys named after candy bars. You've got Richard E. Grant just chewing up the scenery. You've got Danny Aiello and Bruce Willis singing songs as they do heists. It's so much fun. And last is Firestarter, the limited set. This is a 2K transfer. It's got a commentary with the director, anthologist commentary as well. Making of Firestarter. It's got a poster and all kinds of other goodies. Firestarter is a movie that I haven't seen in the longest while. I really wanted to check it out. The Signal One sale I think it's still going on at the moment. It's a website where they have very limited movies. They don't have a great catalogue, and it's pretty much just a boutique label run by one person, which I find unbelievable. And I think you should go in there and check it out. Some of the prices are great. Yes, Zachary, Hudson Hawk is truly tremendous. I sometimes find myself singing the songs from one of the heists in particular. Would you rather be a fish? I don't know if that's the name of it or not. I sing that all the time. But Hudson Hawk was one of those movies that I got way back when it came out in the video shop, and the video shop I used to visit, the guy behind it kind of knew me. I was just a youngster going in there, and he would give me access to his secret stash of movies. Now, these weren't anything untoward. They were just basically pirated copies of movies that were in the cinema, and that's where I first experienced Hudson Hawk, and I just loved it ever since there. Hey BJ London, hello, welcome back again. I'm just testing this out, gibbering on, talking about some movies. I just opened up some movies there that the postman just delivered off to me. Keep waiting in the postman coming every day. It's later and later. Keep hoping for my results, but nothing has come through as yet. Yeah, Miguel, good old video shops. I loved them. I wasted so much time in those places. I think a couple of them, they really, you could just see their eyes rolling as soon as I walked in, because they knew I was there for a good hour or so, just looking at all the weird covers, trying to decide what I was going to spend my pennies on. That's how I discovered so many movies. I think it's something that's lost these days. Yes, Zachary, yeah, Bruno, the singing career. I remember seeing, I'm sure it was something lying about with, it was Under the Boardwalk he sang at some point. It's something I'm going to have to revisit, maybe on YouTube, just check out. But yeah, I don't know why these people, they get success in one area and instantly decide that they're going to be multi-talented, when basically they don't have the ability to take a step back and realise that they may not be as talented in everything as they hoped they were going to be. Yeah, Hudson Hawk again. I'm really glad to see that you guys are fans of this movie. I kind of felt that I was the lone one there. I don't know if it's got any extras on it. Do you know this is actually a UK Blu-ray premiere? It's got a commentary with the director, the story of Hudson Hawk, some deleted scenes, and the usual kind of stuff. But I'm just glad to have the movie. Check it out again. But yeah, Hudson Hawk, it's one of those kind of movies. Okay, Siraj, if I'm saying that wrong, I apologise. Have I ever lost interest in watching movies, and if yes, for how long? It comes in spates, where I'll ease off in the movies. I'll still watch a fair few, but I'll delve more into TV. The longest kind of spell was, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. And I use Letterboxd, so it kind of tracks how many movies I watch each year. And I think one year I managed the paltry sum of maybe 150, 160 movies, which averages out to about 3 a week. To give you an idea, this year, I think the last time I checked Letterboxd, I've watched about 220 movies this year so far. Last year I watched 400, so I'm looking to beat that at some point this year. Yeah, Dennis, I'm back again. What can I say? It was addictive. I had so much fun yesterday. Just wanted to come back on, make sure I had a grasp of all this technology, and luckily I did, because I ran into some problems, which took me a good 20 minutes just to figure out what I was doing. Technology is not my strongest talent, but I am able to pick things up. It may take me a while, but I'll get there in the end. And I was kind of stuck, thinking about the conversation yesterday about guilty pleasures and why we shouldn't really be ashamed of liking certain movies. But even though you kind of know, I think it's the fact that a movie's not well made or may have a poor story that you just kind of love. Alan Melrose. Most actors do a movie that is the pinnacle of their career. My favourite is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for Jack Nicholson's best ever performance. Yeah, that's pretty spectacular. That's one of those movies that I've watched a couple of times. I find it hard going into it, because ultimately the ending leaves me devastated every single time. I know we get the uplifting scene of the chief, doing what he promised to do, but still, what happens to Jack's just not good. But that guy's had an amazing career, and I've been rediscovering a lot of movies from the 70s and 80s that he was in that are just absolutely fantastic that I didn't even realise he was in. I think what was one called Antonioni's the Passenger, I think it was outstanding. Carol, I'm 183 for this year, and you feel like you've hit a wall. Sometimes if you do that, I think it's best to either go back to old favourite movies, the kind of things that just makes you feel like a kid that you just know you're going to enjoy, or take a break, go into a TV series, and then kick back into the movies again. That's usually how I do it. BJ London, you switch from movies to documentaries to TV shows. I think you need to constantly mix things up. I've been watching a lot of Italian movies, and I can feel myself getting to the point where it's time to move on to something else. I think I must have watched about 20 to 30 within the past 10 days, and today I finished one, and I didn't want to put another one on. I went for Zombieland instead, something just like a palate cleanser to figure out what my next thing is going to be that I move on to. The Blue Corner. Dennis. It was a little bit of a Bruce Willis conversation, but more about Hudson Hawk, because I've just picked that up. A fantastic movie. Probably not one that's regarded high on Bruce Willis's career, but is enjoyable as hell. I love the idea of the guys just doing heists, and depending on the time, they would sing a song to keep track of that time span. Great. Zachary Conan, Nurse Ratched, best movie villain in the book. Yeah, she was amazing. The Passenger was, yeah. In my opinion, Fellini or Antonioni. That's a hard one. See, I haven't seen much of both of those directors, but from what I have seen, everything's been excellent. Now, I seen I Vitelloni, I believe, last year, which was good, but the one that kind of blew me away was Juliet of the Spirits, which was, absolutely phenomenal, with a lead performance from his wife and muse, who was absolutely captivating, amazing. Dennis, Hudson Hawk, the first ever Willis movie you bought with your own money and still holds a very space in your heart. But hang on, Dennis. I was just saying, Signal 1 have a sale on at the moment. $5.99 I picked up Hudson Hawk for. First time in Blu-ray in the UK. Yeah, I didn't know much about Juliet until I put the movie on, and even then I wasn't sure that I was going to enjoy it, but the colours, particularly that performance, the story, everything about it was just so pitch perfect. It kind of blew me away. Now I was on a day off when I watched it. I stuck it on first thing. I was planning to watch a few movies because I had got some screeners through to check out. I put on Juliet of the Spirits, and after that my day was done. I couldn't watch another thing. I went out for a long walk just to think about the movie. You ever get one of those things, that the movies that just completely infect your soul? That was one of those movies that just left a resounding stamp with me. No, Knights of Cabiria. I've had that mentioned to me before. I did a review for Juliet of the Spirits, and somebody mentioned that on it, that I should definitely check that out, and it's one that I will get to at some point. Yeah, I know you're quite big into the steelbooks, aren't you, Dennis? I've kind of came away from them, and it's particularly down to Xavi that kind of ruined it for me. And in particular, the Moon steelbook. Now, I love Duncan Jones' Moon. I thought it was a fantastic science fiction movie. And when the steelbook came out, I ran out and bought it, limited to 1,000 units. I thought that's something I want a special edition of because it's pretty fancy. Jump a year down the line, and Xavi re-released the exact same steelbook with another 1,000 or 2,000 limited units, and I'm like, well, hang on. Last year you said it was limited to 1,000. Now it's not, because you've brought it out again. And at that point I was just kind of done with them. Yeah, Zachary, Juliet was just phenomenal. Like I said, I watched I Vitelloni not too far away from that. and that was really spectacular. I found the direction in some of the shots in that was outstanding. There's one moment where the four guys are sitting outside a cafe, but they're all kind of in various seats, and just the way it was set up, where you could see each one layered, going further and further back, was just one of these fantastic shots. And the movies were full of expertly laid out shots like that as well. As much as I love gore-filled movies or American teen comedies or just silly giallo movies or something like that, I like to go and try and tackle as many different genres and eras as possible to get a flavour of everything. You always find something that's pretty spectacular. Yeah, absolutely. Dennis, the limited editions are, I feel they need to be something special for me to actually want to get it. Like, let's say the Phenomena set that came out from Arrow, or even Waterworld. They did two sets. They were great. A little bit pricey. I think they were £20, £25, but you were getting, say Waterworld, I get 3 discs with that. You get the 3-hour Ulysses cut as the third disc. That's not going to be reprinted. When they redo the set, you might get the first 2, but you won't get that Ulysses cut. And that was essential for me. The booklets, the packaging, everything about it just made that a package that I wanted. And another one of those movies that people didn't seem to love, but going back to, I adored Waterworld. The sheer fact that somebody went to the bother to spend that much money on that kind of movie, building those enormous and practical sets, was mind-blowing. And I think it's just awesome that we live in a world where something as crazy as that can get made. But yeah, that's the kind of things I've been watching recently. Excuse me. I see, so pretty soon I'm going to have to move on to some other movies, and I've been getting harassed about checking out some Studio Ghibli movies. This is a blind spot in my watching, and I've got a couple somewhere. I have Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, and Kiki's Delivery Service to watch at some point. Yeah, Dennis, you know what? It's people shouldn't be allowed to say people have bad taste in movies. Your own personal taste is something that makes you the individual. You know, if you get pleasure out of something, you shouldn't be put down for that or having bad taste in movies. I like movies that generally people don't get a lot of enjoyment out of. Hudson Hawk, Waterworld, things like that. I think it's great. I've got the box set of Anaconda pre-ordered, and I've never seen any of the sequels, but I enjoy the first one. It's ridiculous. I can't wait to see Jon Voight's dodgy Uruguayan accent and over-the-top performance again. It's regarded as a terrible movie, but if you get enjoyment out of it, does it really make it that bad a movie? I don't think so. So yeah, back to the Studio Ghibli. I've been promising a mate Luke that I would get to them at some point. He's a big fan of them, and I think I just put a little bit too much pressure on the movies. I'm expecting masterpieces right across the board, and I don't know if I'm going to get that. Yep, Dennis, it'll be out pretty soon as well. I'm sure it's out in June, so they must be ready to pre-order it at some point. I logged in Amazon a while back when they were doing, I think it was a £5 voucher, so I put it on. I think I got it locked in at like £20, 30 pence or something, which is great value for. I don't know if I'm going to really enjoy the other 3 movies, but I want to visit the first movie again. Yeah, Carol, how's Moving Castle? And to be honest, I've not heard a bad thing about any of the Ghibli movies. It's just never something that I've been overly drawn to. The one that I did want to see in the cinema that I missed out on was When Marnie Was There, I think it was called. That looked outstanding. That looked the kind of thing that was my cup of tea. But unfortunately, it never hung about the cinema long enough for me to really get a visit to see it. Yeah, Dennis, I try to do that when I can, but supporting the studios is the way I would go, but sometimes they make it a little bit hard for you by not having the best price point. You know, you go onto Arrow's website and it'll be £18 a pre-order. And take for instance, they've got Weird Science and 16 Candles coming out, 2 movies that I want to buy. Will I drop £36 at the Arrow website, or will I go into HMV the day they come out and get them in their 2 for £25 offer, which is what they usually have, and save myself £11. I'm not rich enough to be just throwing money away. If I could afford it, I would absolutely go there, and I do go there for their sales because they're always pretty terrific, but it comes down to money, and you know, everybody loves a bargain, or I do specifically. The Cocaine Cowboys 2 documentary, The Godmother Grisela Blanco. No, that's one that I haven't heard of, but I will just take a note of that. Is it available on Netflix or Amazon Prime, YouTube, anywhere that I could possibly get to see it? I do like documentaries. I tend to go in spates of them. You know, sometimes they're just, you tend to find one, or I do, that just blows you away, absolutely fantastic, and that sets you down a rabbit hole of checking more of them. I always remember, like, one of my favourite ones was Blackfish, which isn't the most, I don't know, like, informative one ever, but the way they set up the whole premise of the movie as though it was a murder mystery with the orca, it could possibly be like crazed and killing people, was just fantastic. It was a really, really interesting documentary way to set it up. Yilin Lim, will you watch them in Japanese or dubbed in English? I think you have to go Japanese. These movies were intended to be watched a certain way, and I think watching those kind of movies dubbed in English, whereas it may be an easy shorthand, I think the actors are reinterpreting what was initially meant to be portrayed and adding certain inflections to the words. I think checking them out with the Japanese dub with the subtitles is probably the best way to go. That's the way I would do it. Depending on the material, a lot of the Giallo movies I will watch dubbed because the way they were filmed without sound and then redubbed later anyway, it's changed the context of the performance, so I don't really mind that. Zachary Conan, did you track the new Tarantino trailer yesterday? Yes, I did. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of trailers. I find that these days they tend to give a lot away, and what I like most about the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood trailer is you don't really have an idea for the story. It just looks awesome. I love the aesthetic and the look of the characters. I like the idea of DiCaprio and Brad Pitt together. The idea of DiCaprio as a washed up actor, Brad Pitt as his kind of confidant, best bud, stunt partner. I like the idea of the whole Bruce Lee fight. Just looks crazy. I think the movie, although I don't know anything about it, I cannot wait to see it. Tarantino is one of those directors that just never fails to marvel. I usually don't know what exactly I'm going to get, but whatever I get, I enjoy fully, and it's one of the movies that, well, it is my most anticipated movie of this year. Not a problem, Yi Lin. It's just the way to see them. I think that's the way, and I think that my friend Luke as well would be adamant about watching it with the original language. It's the way it's intended to be seen. Digital or hard copy? You tend to buy on Google Play Movies, but the Google tend to be a bit pricey. Get the first 3 Bond movies and looking forward to the 5th instalment. That's from Alan Melrose. Yes, behind me you see the answer. I prefer hard copy 100%. I don't know if I fully trust the digital content. You hear stories of movies just disappearing from services. We recently had the whole thing with Ultraviolet going under, where you lost a lot of movies that went to the studios. So rather than having one contained thing that you would log into to get your digital copies, you now have to go to several sites. There is things written in to the agreements and conditions on these that they can remove the movies at any point, and you will get nothing back. You've paid that money, you've lost the money, you may lose the movie. I like a physical copy. It takes me back to the days of video shops, going in there, looking through for something that I want to see. I find when I'm on Netflix, I'm just clicking as it fires through the movie posters. Whereas I come in here and I run my finger across it, you get the tactile feeling of looking at something, and something will just jump out at you as you want to watch. I prefer hard copies. I don't know why foreign films seem to do poorly in the US. I really enjoy foreign movies because I find that they kind of buck the trend that Hollywood has. You find a lot of studio movies follow a set layout and plan, and they never really break from that, whereas you can watch another country's movies and get completely different perspective on that. A couple of Asian movies that I saw recently, like Wolf Warrior 2, The Wandering Earth, big budgeted large movies, similar in ways to some of the American cousins. Wolf Warrior 2 I would say is kind of similar to a Michael Bay movie. The Wandering Earth is similar to a Roland Emmerich movie. And they kind of follow certain beats, but they do other things. Like Wandering Earth, they're not worried about killing off characters. Wolf Warrior 2, people are just getting decimated by bullets, shot in the face, kids, women, showing the true travesty of insurgents within a war zone or a country. You wouldn't get that in Americanized movies. I think foreign movies, you get far more risks, and it's nice to check all different kind of cultures and content as well, because you get different aspects of things, and I think that can bring things out. I like quite a lot of Italian movies. I love the Asian cinema as well. Quite a lot of the Korean movies are pretty fantastic. You know, very rarely do you find one that doesn't have some redeeming factor. It's not a typical drug dealer doc. There's a unique twist. Right, okay, tell me no more. I will keep an eye out for that. US has the company Well Go USA, and I absolutely love them. 99% of the stuff they put out is foreign movies. I haven't heard of that one. Dennis, I know you're in Denmark, so I take it, do you buy from all different kind of companies all around the globe? Yep, digital can be censored at any time, so no thanks. Alan Melrose, you didn't know that. Starbucks offer a movie night group discussion. Have you ever done a meet and greet in Starbucks? No, I have not. I hadn't heard of that before. There's one quite local to me as well. That would be something that would be quite interesting, actually. I being where I live and the kind of people that I hang about with, I don't have many friends who are as fanatical about film as I am, and I have to tailor my conversations to make sure that I'm not overwhelming them or just constantly talking about movies. It's one of those things where I need to be constantly aware of what I'm saying, and I'm not going too much into the film stuff. You know, sometimes you have to listen to people talk about movies and you just want to correct them, fix things, and ultimately you just need to let it go. Being within a group of people that were ardent film fans, I think would be a great experience. Definitely something I would be interested in. I know that I don't know everything about film. That's the best way to be. You want to be constantly learning, constantly evolving, and just meeting people like that would be great. Which is why I love YouTube. You know, you can reach out, contact people from around the globe, and get different perspectives, recommendations of movies. And I think this is a wonderful platform for doing that, for being able to reach out and meet like-minded people. Especially for me, like I said, nobody round about me that is as fanatical as film as I am. BJ London, Korean movies, love them, lots of gems. Yeah, they are, and you get the big ones which are fantastic, like Old Boy or the Chan Park-wook things that you get and love, but there's other hidden gems as well. One I saw a couple of years back was called A Hard Day, that was just phenomenal. Really funny, really full of action, just great. But then you go into the dramas as well, and they're all terrific. Yeah, Dennis, you're worldwide. You have stuff from CP in the US, UK stuff saying Denmark is terrible with movies you want. I'm a big fan of boutique labels. I love Powerhouse, 88 Films, Arrow, Eureka. I Signal One, Shameless. I love all these kind of things. 101 Films. I like the boutiques. I like the stuff they're putting out. A lot of the movies I buy are older movies. I very rarely, if at all, buy recently released movies. And yes, we'll go to the USA. It's far better than Cineasia. Cineasia, a company I genuinely like. They have released the Invisible Target and some other movies, Wolf Warrior 1 and 2, but it's all just similar kind of stuff. It doesn't really break the mold too much. I think they should be delving into some other genres other than just the action. You know, they did the Ip Man movies as well, which I still haven't seen parts 2 or 3, which I'll need to get to at some point. Yeah, so let's see what else we have here. I kind of like the idea of that Starbucks movie night, meeting new people, and you know, I love coffee. So that's two of my favourite things. So Carol, the postman just came with Big Heat. Right, how much did you pay for that, out of curiosity? They are getting more expensive, especially on Amazon and eBay. I usually buy direct from them when I'm doing it. I do have quite a chunk of their movies. I think I'm missing about 15 or 20, and I do have a couple of spares that I need to throw up onto eBay at some point as well. In fact, I don't know if you can see. We'll see if we can move it. That's all my indicator. The top couple of shelves up there. Yeah. Cineasia don't do many Blu-rays anymore from the look of it, and the last few ones you've seen only had Dolby Digital 5.1. Not down with that, and you've got a lot more companies like Arrow and 88 Films. Yes, Arrow and 88 are probably my go-to companies at the moment. I do have a lot of Masters of Cinema. I do like Criterion and things like that, but I do like my genre movies, and these are the kind of ones that have been delivering for me at the moment. I'm looking forward to their Weird Science release from Arrow, the Hollow Man and the Anaconda sets from 88 Films as things that I've pre-ordered as well. Can't wait to get my hand on that. I've not seen Hollow Man 2. Again, that's another one of those, or Hollow Man as well is one of those movies that was kind of maligned when it came out. You managed to get it for 15, but seen it a lot for 7. Yes, the Big Heat was one of the early ones as well, I think. Yep, it was. And you're probably better picking it up now rather than later. It's going to disappear soon. I'm surprised it's not sold out already, being Fritz Lang. Yeah, Indicator is Indicator's a nice label. I like it. A lot of the movies I buy, but they have a certain strategic marketing strategy, I feel, and it's obviously working for them. They don't allow their movies to drop price. Very rarely have I seen them going below £14. Usually new, if you're picking up from their website and you buy all that month's releases, you can get 10% off. But yeah, very, very rarely do they drop their prices. They do a sale once a year where I try and pick up the kind of things I'm missing, but even then they only drop to £10. I think they know what they're doing. A lot of effort goes into their movies. I do like them, but they're edging on the pricier side of a boutique label. Dennis, yeah, I'm not as bad as Look. Yeah, looks, Look. What's my favourite decade for movies? And I can't say the present. That's easy. 80s. The 80s is my go-to time span for movies. I love it. Pretty much anything I adore from the 80s. I think it's got a couple of the movies in there are in my top 10 movies of all time. Take The Thing or The Burbs. I recently rewatched Big Trouble in Little China. God, I just love it. You get all the Indiana Jones movies. You get the best Star Wars movie came out in that decade. You get Ghostbusters out in that decade, Gremlins, Yeah, all the big ones, all my childhood favourites. 80s is the decade for me that I love. I absolutely love. I'm curious to know what you guys' favourite decade of movies are. Yeah, Dennis, can there really be any other answer in the 80s? Best decade of action and horror. I do love my early Jean-Claude Van Damme movies as well. You know, Bloodsport, Cyborg, which I'm sure thinks maybe 89 or 90. It's close to the bone anyway. Kickboxer, those kind of things were all staples for me. The kind of movies that I just loved watching as a teenager. A little bit younger than that. But yeah, 80s through and through. Yeah, Carol, the 40s, you love a good noir. I recently picked up a bunch of those in the Arrow sale as well. I quite like noir movies. I do like the fact that the kind of runtime, the story is all condensed. There's generally no fat on these kind of movies. They're all kind of fun, easy to watch type of things. I love the language in them, and the whole sort of Mickey Spillane type idea of the mysteries or stuff as well. I just love. Fun times. But every time, like, if I'm looking for a comfort movie, it's 80s. It's 80s all the way. There's very few movies from that era that I haven't seen. I love to discover new ones. The big ones were just immense movies. That's when Spielberg was really just knocking all the blockbusters out of the park as well. And for me, it's the perfect. You had you had Stallone, you had Schwarzenegger. Coming to the fourth as well with their action movies. Dennis, I'm sure you love them. And I don't know. I don't know if there's any other kind of genre, any other year that had as many genre hits or as many movies that I love as much as the 80s. Yeah, I think that's more a product of my age as well. That's the time where I really got into movies a lot on the TV. It was all of the big hitters, and it's the one I'm most kind of fond of. So if you've got any questions of that, just drop them in the box. I'll answer as best as I can. I've got another 10-15 minutes to kill before I need to go and get on with some chores that I need to do. Angels with Dirty Faces, James Cagney. No, I haven't seen that one. For some reason, like I know it's not the movie because it's just a made up movie, but whenever I see that title, Angels with Dirty Faces, I just think of Home Alone. Yeah, as I don't know why, it just does. The 80s have one of your top 3 movies. Raging Bull is outstanding, just in every way possible. Martin Scorsese is one of my favourite directors. I want to go back and check that out again. Robert De Niro giving one of his best performances. Joe Pesci's fantastic. Kathy Moriarty, great. The choice of going black and white in it, just amazing. Present is your time. There's brilliant movies out now, but the 80s and 90s movies are attached to memories, and that's what makes them special. Yeah, absolutely. It's the kind of nostalgia factor. It's movies can be time machines, taking you back to a certain time, an era, a place where you were joyful, happy, whatever. And that's what movies can do. Little time capsules. I do it all the time. Like I'll throw on something ridiculous like Temple of Doom is one of my go-to movies, because it always takes me back to a time sitting with my friends watching it, summer nights in the house, after being out playing all day. It's the same with like silly movies as well. Cocoon, you know, that's one of those movies takes me back to a time with my family. During the summer again, we watched it, and then my family were like, right, it was your turn to take it back to the video shop. You need to take it back down. You said you would. didn't want to, grudgingly got up to take it back down, and they're like, you better make sure it's the right tape that's in the box. Opened it up to discover that they had already been back down to the video shop and picked up Cocoon the Return. It was a good time. Good memories. Like I said, movies are escapism, time capsules for fun like that. The ninja set is awesome. Yeah, from Eureka. How much did you get it for, Dennis? I hope it was a good price. Alan Melrose, Weird Science, great movie. Yes, 100%. I love that. Fantastic. Bill Paxton is great as the obnoxious brother. Kelly LeBrock is just terrific. Gary and Wyatt, the two characters, are immensely fun. I love it when they get drunk and they're telling these like hard guys about being kicked in the balls. And it's just one of those funny movies that's effortless. You know, every time you sit down and watch it, it feels like the first time, feels comfortable. It's like a warm blanket. It's just great characters, great fun. Even when it gets wacky at the end and it brings in the guys from Class of Newcomb High and Cut and Run, House of Eyes, those type of guys, as the post-apocalyptic warriors type, it just feels part of the movie and it's fun. 26 is not too bad. Oh, hey Barry, nice to see you. Yeah, I'm just on testing all this software again. It's good to have you dropping by. Of course, Wolfman's Got Nards, great horror channel if you're into your horror stuff. Is anybody a big horror fan out there? If so, what's your favourite decade of horror? Dennis, that's not bad. £26, fairly decent. I've seen it a little bit cheaper, but it seems to be in sales sporadically. I picked it up for much be roughly the same. 80s for you, Barry, definite. Yeah, I've got to agree with you. I know you're a big slasher guy as well, and that's been most of the Halloween, Fridays, Jason and all that, but then it was the kind of ones that come under the radar that I'm rediscovering now that I'm finding are fantastic. One that I recently watched last year was Bad Dreams, which blew me away. I thought it was a fantastic movie. I know you've seen that because you've seen every horror movie ever. But yeah, BJ London, Temple of Doom is my favourite of the Indiana Jones movies. Yeah, I think it's probably mine as well. Yeah, Alan, I take it you're talking about the original Poltergeist, not that awful remake, which only had one redeeming quality, which was Sam Rockwell. The Blue Corner, Dennis, looks like Amazon has it for 22, but then they're shipping on top, so Amazon being a bit more expensive. Yeah, Barry, Slasher Classics Collection. That's how I discovered that movie. Never heard of it before. Bad Dreams, didn't know what to expect. I was totally blown away with it. I just utterly loved it. Going into some of the extras, I was dismayed to discover that they planned more sequels, which we never quite got. Don't know how they would have done it. Yeah, yeah, the whole is it Toby's, is it Stephen's Poltergeist? I think we all know the answer to that one, to be fair. Spielberg couldn't direct it because of some kind of contractual glitch, so pretty much just hired a puppet. Oh, Brian, nice to see you join in the stream. What are you up to today, Brian? Anything in particular? Dennis, Poltergeist has been remade again. Is that a fact? Who's doing this? Kurgo, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That movie is... I've spoken about that in a video before. That's one of these movies that has a resounding effect on me. That is one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen. Just atmosphere. The whole scene at the dinner table when they wheel out the grandpa and try and get him to cave the girl's skull in is one of the most horrific images set on film. It is truly disturbing. The cackling, the laughing, her screaming, the close-ups of her eyes, it's truly horrific. That movie is deeply unsettling, and for a movie where you really don't see a lot of gore, it's most of it's implied, it is haunting. Bugger O'Brien, yep, that's the same as me, which is why I jumped on here for a little while just to test all this software out again. Barry, you heard about the remake of Poltergeist? The remake? Surely not. Not even a sequel or anything like that, no. Dennis, you saw some news about it recently. Don't remember, but yeah, Kirko, the dinner table scene is horrific. Now, what's everybody's opinion of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2? I love it because you were never going to capture the magic of one, so why not just go in the complete opposite direction? And you had Toby back again. It was his baby. He could do whatever the hell he wanted with it, and he just went batshit crazy. He got a coked up Dennis Hopper to be in the movie. He says he can't even remember being in it. I really dig Texas Chainsaw 2. Sorry, Barry, is it the Russo brothers doing it? Surely not. Surely they're not going from Avengers Endgame and they must be like executive producing, like they just put their name on it and get a couple of $1 million each. Yeah, you didn't love Texas Chainsaw 2. It was interesting, but it didn't go in the direction you wanted it to. Yeah, I don't really know how you could have continued that story, and I kind of appreciated the fact that they just went in the complete opposite direction. The guy with the metal plate in his head, picking bits off it, eating it. It was just crazy. The mother cannibal as well was just bonkers. Yeah, Kirgo, I'm with you. One of my favourite things was the marketing campaign for Texas 2, where it did a lot of the posters similar to The Breakfast Club and things like that, just already showing you that it had a sense of humour about it, giving you an idea into what the movie was going to be. Brian's got reviews for all the Texas Chainsaw Massacres coming soon. Let's just say you ain't a fan, so I'm pretty sure you're going to be a big fan of the first one, Brian. I'd be curious in the second one. After that, they are pretty dire. I did like the remakes, part 3, Leatherface. I thought that was a pretty fun one. Yeah, BJ London, 70s horror was like an experimental decade with the creativity, lots of gems. Yeah, I quite like some of these movies because you're never too sure which direction they're going to go. I watched one a while back. I can't remember what the title of it was, but it was basically about cave people that were trapped, or was it miners that were trapped? It came kind of in the Neanderthal-like, and a couple of them came out because they were the last alive and they were looking for mates to take back into their hovel. That was pretty weird and just fun. Okay, Alan, I'll catch you later on. The jump scare is one of the best ones ever. Yes. Okay, Barry, we'll catch you later on. Poltergeist remake, Russo brothers. I think I will be shocked with that one. That does seem a bit out there. Kirgo, the Leatherface jump scare. Which one? Dennis, the Maniac Cop movies. I love them. Now, part 2 is my favourite, but I do have a soft spot for part 1, but simply because it's got Bruce Campbell in it. But 2 is amazing. 3, not quite as much, but yeah, love those movies. BJ London, you're a Hills Have Eyes guy. Are we talking originals, remakes, both? In fact, I think we only have Maniac Cop 1 in the UK. That's on Arrow. I don't have part 2 as yet. That's something I might need to look into, Dennis. Both, yeah, I think The Hills Have Eyes was one of the more successful remakes, the first one anyway. I found it quite interesting. The Hills Have Eyes, the original, was interesting. It's a little bit dated now. It doesn't hold up as well as it was. It's still quite shocking, quite fun. The sequel to that, again, was a bit of a mismatch, where the budget was slashed as they went in to film it, and it ends up becoming, I think there's a flashback to the first movie in it that lasts about 15 minutes because they had to pad out the runtime. But yeah, the remake was good. I even liked the sequel to the remake, which was alright. Not as good as the original, but there you are. Dennis, you grew up with Child's Play, Maniac Cop, so you'll take them over Friday, Halloween and Freddy. Child's Play I have a great love for. I find those are fantastic movies. With most of the long running horror sequels, there is one absolutely abysmal entry. I'm not happy with the way they take some of the characters. I thought Curse of Chucky was a great sort of reimagining, bringing it back to its horror roots. And I loved that, you know, being trapped in a house, the women in the wheelchair, it's kind of gothic feeling about it, had so much scares and oddity, just stripped everything back to the way Child's Play was in the original movie, and I was excited for the sequel. Then we get Cult of Chucky and it got wacky and silly again, but I'm not looking forward to the remake of that. Yeah, you've got 2 and 3 from the US, Dennis. Oh, jealous. Kurgo, the House of Eyes remake was disturbing. Yeah, definitely so. I had a great idea about it as well, with the mutants being caused because of the testing out the nuclear weapons and things like that, and the way they went a bit crazy was so much fun. Curse was great. Seed and Cult, not so. Seed's the one I'm talking about. Seed was the complete worst one that they had going. Just sheer awful. If you could kick that out of the series, I absolutely would. Cult, I kind of enjoyed some aspects of it, but it just wasn't great. You know, I think they nailed it with Curse, and if they'd continued with that horror aesthetic, like I said, I'm not looking forward to the remake of this one. I'll go and see it, but I'll keep my expectations limited. BJ London, you rented Maniac Cop from Blockbuster's VHS. That was the golden time for these type of movies. And Maniac Cop was one of the ones that was, you know, pretty decent, I think, anyway. Kurgo, do I still watch VHS movies? No, I don't. I had about 300 to 400 of them stored at my parents' house, and they sneakily threw them in the trash one day. They just got rid of them all, or gave them away, or did something nefarious with them. I have one. I have no form in playing them. It's not something that I am interested in going back to. We can get those movies. We can get those movies in far better quality now. I don't have the space. I understand maybe the love for vinyl that's come back because it is a more richer sound that you can get off that. Although you do get, you know, other good enough digital quality ones. But the VHSs, I don't really see. I don't see the attraction in that at the moment. You know, I've got a book on VHS cover art, which I think is probably the most fascinating thing, and a couple of books on the video nasty spate in the 80s in UK video shops, which is quite interesting. But nah, I'm not interested in going back to VHS. BJ London, I really do miss it. I talked to somebody on Twitter who actually has a video shop. It's not videos, it's all DVDs and Blu-rays he owns. He says the business is doing quite well. I think that's amazing that they've kind of found that niche market. For me, there's nothing near me at all. I don't know how you would even go about maybe starting one of those up. I think with all the boutique labels now in the movies that are coming out now, you could have a really great range. But yeah, I miss going into the video shop and just standing looking at the covers, literally judging the movie on the covers as you did. You would buy a movie, take it home, watch it. The cover art would be representative of nothing that happened in the movie whatsoever, but you still went back and did the exact same thing again. Okay, I think that's going to be it for today. I think I've got an idea on how this is working. I'll be doing some more live streams at some point. I'll try to have some topics brought up about them, and I'll give you guys plenty of notice. We'll do them at different times as well. Try and get a few people involved. I quite like this, interacting and being able to answer questions, talk to people, get their opinion. In Finland, all the video shops are just selling candy. It's not a bad thing either. I like candy. Who doesn't? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Man vs Film.